I was recently working with a salesperson who had a customer who was buying considerably more from her over the past few months than he had the previous months, like by an X factor, 5x times, 5 times as much as he was buying previously. So when he sent her an email that said, hey, do you have time to talk? She had a strong suspicion that what he wanted to talk about was price. So she called me to say, hey, how do I handle that? And so I asked her, well, what price do you think he thinks it should be? And she didn't know. And I asked, well, when would he want, if you were to change the price, when would he want that new price to take effect? Well, she didn't know. Well, where's he getting pressure on price? Is it coming from someone above him in the organization, maybe the CEO or CFO? Or is it coming from another department manager where maybe he's allocated the cost to? Well, she didn't know. I said, well, so then we pretty quickly agreed that the mission of that call would be to discover answers to questions like that. See, right now, she just doesn't know enough about the situation to be able to help. And so her first and really only mission in that call is to learn what she needs to know in order to help the customer. So we talked about using some techniques, 3 of them specifically. And the first one is the mirror, where you just repeat the last 3 words or so of what the person says. So we role played a little bit. And if he said, yeah, I just think the price is too high. And then she would say, price is too high? And he would say, well, yeah, because boom, boom, boom. See, psychologically, we just need to know that you're listening. We need to know that you're paying attention, and then we can keep going. We want to tell you more. We want you to help us solve our problem. So he wants her to be able to know everything she needs to know. So he wants to keep talking. He just needs a little encouragement. And a mirror is a great encouragement. Another technique we talked about was labeling, where you say it seems like or sounds like. And then really whatever you say, whether you're right or wrong, doesn't matter. They're going to either agree with you or correct you. Either way, you know more. So that would look like, boy, it seems like you're really frustrated. It seems like the CFO is really on you about this budget. Oh no, the CFO's not on me. It's these department managers. Oh, okay. Or yeah, that's exactly it. The CFO is on my back. He's telling me the budget's too high. We can't sustain this. Well, now you know that. Either way, you got more information that we can now use to help the client solve their problem. And the last technique was to say, what makes you say that? Which is a great way of asking why. It's a really polite and powerful way of asking why. So if he would say, yeah, the price is just too high, you say, well, what makes you say that? Well, because this doesn't matter. Whatever he says in that because statement is more information. Now you have more information about what's driving this decision, what he thinks is too high. Well, what would a fair price be? And when would you like that to start? You can ask all those questions along this conversation as you're eliciting information with the mirror and with the labeling and with the what makes you say that. So she went into that conversation, again, with that sole purpose of gathering information. And then we agreed what she'd do is say, hey, really appreciate you walking me through this. You gave me a lot to think about. I want to process this, step away and think about this, and then I'll get back to you. Let's set another meeting, because you never want to end a meeting without setting the next meeting in sales. So set that next meeting so that you control the process, and I'll call you again on Friday, or let's set up a meeting at 2 o'clock on Thursday, whatever it is, a couple days, maybe a week out, and I'll get back to you and we'll talk about this more. And then she could come back and we could strategize a little bit about, now that she knows what's going on and what he expects, well, how can we respond? Is it something we can meet? Is it something we can give a little bit on? Is it just a flat no? And then how are we going to craft that message? Whatever it was going to be, but that was getting ahead of ourselves. The point for now was go into that meeting to gather information. See, we can't solve problems we don't understand. And the best way to understand is to ask questions. And what makes you say that? And it seems like, sounds like, and mirroring are great ways of eliciting information. By the way, those techniques come from a great book called Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. And those techniques and many more are explained in that book. But those are 3 that are super practical and you can use a lot of times, especially when you're looking to get more information from somebody to help you help them.